My topic is to explain the division algorithm. The statement is let a be any integer and b a positive integer. So we have to note here a is any integer and b a positive integer. So it must be from 1. So 1 to infinity, we can take any one of a positive integer. Then there exist unique integers q and r such that see the equation a equal to bq plus r, where 0 less than or equal to r less than b. So here the important thing is a, we can take an example as a as 13 and b as 7. So if you divide 13 by 7, here it is clearly mentioned a as dividend, b as divisor. So if you divide, we will get the remainder, the quotient as one time. So if you divide 13 by 7, you will get quotient as 1, the remainder as 6. Okay, and the condition, the constraint condition C, 0 less than or equal to r less than b means r is the remainder should be greater than or equal to 0 and it must be less than b. If here b is 7, r is 6, while we take b as 7 and a as 13. Okay, sometimes if you take 16 and if you divide it by 4, then you will get the remainder as 0. So this is the statement. So here see the statements. We are having 4 integers. One is a is any integer, b must be a positive integer, and there exist unique integers. The word is very important, unique integers q and r such that a equal to bq plus r. So where 0 less than or equal to r less than b, all the words are should be noted and very important. See the proof. So here we have the proof. We have two parts. One is the existence, the another one is uniqueness. So it is mentioned in the statement very clearly that q and r should be unique. Okay, so how the equation a equal to bq plus r is going to be existed here, we are going to see. See the first proof, existence proof. Consider the set. We have to take a set capital S which is equal to a minus bn such that n belongs to z. That means n should be an integer and a minus bn should be greater than or equal to 0. So here we are going to use well ordering principle. So well ordering principle states that any set of positive integer has a least number. So here also we are going to use that. The set is very clear. While you see the basic equation a equal to bq plus r, so there we can take bq to the left hand side, then you can get a minus bq. So for this only we are going to prove r as a minus bq. So let r is the least number. We are going to prove that in a few steps. See, consider the set S equal to a minus bn. n belongs to z and a minus bn greater than or equal to 0. Clearly s contained in w, w means the whole number set. It is from 0, 1, 2, 3 up to infinity. Only it contains positive integers with 0. So we can see, so since s greater than or equal to 0, it is clearly true, s contained in w. Now we have to prove s contains a least element. I told you, I already explained it. We should have a least number or like that. So we are going to prove that only. First we have to prove S is non-empty, because in the well ordering principle it is mentioned that every non-empty positive integer set. So here we have to prove first it is non-empty. See here, we are having two cases here. Since a is any integer, it means a greater than or equal to 0, we can take one case, and the another case is a less than 0. So we can write a as a minus b into 0, where 0 is an integer. So look at the set S equal to a minus bn and n belongs to z. Okay, then it is clearly a belongs to s. So s is non-empty in that case. And again, when case 2, suppose a less than 0, if we take a negative integer, since b belongs to positive integer, so z plus, b greater than or equal to 1. So we know that if b belongs to z plus, then b must be greater than or equal to 1. Then equal to 1. Then if a positive, then ab greater than or equal to a, but a is negative. Okay, then we can get a greater than or equal to ab. A greater than or equal to ab. So if you bring ab to the left hand side, you will get a minus ba greater than or equal to 0. So we have a minus ba greater than or equal to 0, where a is an integer. Then it seems to be an element in s. So a minus ba belongs to s. That is, in both cases s contains at least one element. So s is a non-empty subset of w. So by we have the equation a equal to bq plus r. Now we have to get the constraint conditions, 0 less than or equal to r less than b. That's what we have to prove. But here we have a minus bq as greater than or equal to 0. That means r greater than or equal to 0. Now the only condition is we have to prove r less than b. So this is the only proof we have to prove in the existence. See, we are going to prove this by contradiction. Suppose r is greater than or equal to b, then r minus b greater than or equal to 0. So but r minus b equal to, here we have substitute the value of r, so we can get a minus b into q plus 1 is of the form a minus bn and is greater than or equal to 0. Here we have r minus b as in the form of a minus bn, and also which is greater than or equal to 0, and the another condition is r minus b is less than r. But already we have chosen that r is the least number, but here we are going to have a number r minus b which is greater than or equal to 0 and which is belongs to s. But this is not possible because of we have assumed that r less than or greater than or equal to b. So this is a contradiction. So R must be less than B. So this is our existent proof. We have proved that for any integer A and a positive integer B, there exist integers q and r such that A equal to bq plus r, where 0 less than or equal to r less than b. So this is our statement without the uniqueness q and r. Now we are going to prove the uniqueness. See, if we take another pair q dash and r dash, which also existing in the A and B combination, such that A equal to BQ dash plus R dash, where 0 less than or equal to R dash less than B. Already we have A equal to BQ plus R, 0 less than or equal to R less than B. So here we have two equations with corresponding constraints equations. Assume for convenience that q greater than or equal to q dash. This is for our convenience only. Now subtract both the equations, r dash minus r, then you will get bq minus bq dash. If you take b outside, you will get q minus q dash. So this is our equation. Already we have assumed that q greater than or equal to q dash, then we can get q minus q dash greater than or equal to 0, and hence so r dash minus r also greater than or equal to 0, since b is positive integer. So if we multiply both positive integer, we can get again a positive integer. So r dash minus r greater than or equal to 0, but we have r dash less than b and r less than b, that implies r dash minus r less than b. So it is very important, we have to note that r dash minus r less than b. Suppose q greater than q dash, we have to prove q equal to q dash, but here we are taking suppose q greater than q dash, that is q minus q dash greater than or equal to 1. Then if we multiply both sides by b, a positive integer, you will get b into q minus q dash greater than or equal to b. That means from the particular equation r dash minus r, we can get r dash minus r greater than or equal to b. This is a contradiction, since we have r dash minus r less than b. So q does not greater than q dash, thus q equal to q dash, and hence r equal to r dash. So we have the uniqueness of q and r. Now we are going to discuss about divisibility and corresponding some results. So how we define the divisibility? Let a comma b belongs to z. We say b divides a and write b divides a. We have to write as a straight line. First you have to write the smallest number, and that means first we have to write the divisor, second we have to write the dividend. So if b divides a, we have to write a equal to bc for some integer c. So we know that if you take a as 6, we can write b, if you take b as 2, then we will get a equal to 6 equal to 2 into 3. Here c is 3. So this is just an example. Here we have to prove some basic results. See, if a, b, c are integers, then we have to prove the following. A divides a, for all a not equal to 0 belongs to z. So this is the property, we know that, reflexivity. Then second one, a divides b and b divides c implies a divides c, for all a, b not equal to 0, c not equal to 0 belongs to z. So this is transitivity, we know that if a divides b and b divides c, then we can get a divides c. and A divides B implies A divides BC for all A not equal to 0 and B belongs to Z. And the last one is if A divides B and A divides C implies A divides linear combination of B and C. So XB plus YC for all XY belongs to Z and A not equal to 0. Here this A not equal to 0 is very important. If 0 does not divide any numbers, but every numbers divides 0. So here must we have to write A not equal to, the divisor should be not equal to 0. So we are going to prove the first one. See, let A, B, C belongs to Z. If A not equal to 0, then A equal to, we can write A into 1. 1 is an integer. So by divisibility definition, we can write A divides A. So this is our first proof. Second one, we have to assume A divides B and B divides C. Now we have to prove A divides C. That is to prove, see the last line, we have to prove A divides C implies C equal to A into something. A multiple of A. The Q1, Q2 must be integer. So we are going to prove that A divides B means B equal to AQ1 and C equal to BQ2, where A not equal to 0, B not equal to 0 in Z, and Q1, Q2 are some integers. Now this is by our divisibility definitions. Now from the second equation C equal to BQ2, if you substitute B as AQ1, you will get AQ1 Q2, and if you modify it, you will get C equal to A into Q1 Q2. The regroup Q1 Q2, the multiply is an integer. Since Q1 is an integer, Q2 is an integer, if we multiply, then also we will get an integer. So by our definition, A divides C. So this is our second property. The third one, what we have to prove, given A divides B, we have to prove A divides BC, where C is an integer. We can easily prove that. Since A divides B, by our definition, B equal to AQ1, where Q1 is an integer. So if you multiply both sides by C, you will get BC equal to AQ1 into C. And if you regroup it, you will get A into Q1C. Q1C is an integer. Then by our definition, A divides BC. So these all from our definition only we got. Here it is in the format of, see the definition as, if B divides A, then A equal to BC. Otherwise, if BC equal to A, then we have to take the small element as B. B divides A. That is the meaning. So here also we got that. Since BC equal to A into Q1C, we can write A divides BC. So now we have to prove the last condition. If A divides B and A divides C, we have to prove A divides the linear combination of B and C. That means A divides XB plus YC, where X and Y are integers. Since A divides B and A divides C, we can write B as A into Q1, where Q1 is an integer. The same way C is equal to A Q2, where Q1, Q2 are some integers. Now we have to bring a form that XB plus YC equal to multiple of A. That what we have to bring here. So if we XB plus YC, we can write X into our some important result. Thank you. So it is given as a range. So we have to find first the number of positive integer less than or equal to 1976, which are divisible by 13. So we can get the divisible numbers from 1 to 1976. So if you divide, you will get 152. It is divisible. We have to note that point. Then we have to find the number of positive integers less than or equal to 3776 that are divisible by 13. So which is 3776 by 13. So we can get 290.46. So we have to use the greatest integer part, 290. See, then we can get the result as 290 minus 152. The overall range from 1 to 3776 is 290, and the range from 1 to 1976 is 152. So if you subtract, you will get a result. Then we have to add a 1, since I have given the reason here. 1976 is divisible by 13, so only we have to add a 1. We have to use this only for the first number. We shouldn't take to the last number. It should be used only for the first number which is divisible or not. If it is divisible, then we have to add 1. Otherwise, we shouldn't add that 1. So this is our problem. So another problem I am giving as an example. Find the number of positive integers less than or equal to 2076 and divisible by neither 4 nor 5. Here it is clear given that neither 4 nor 5. So we have to find all the numbers between 2076 from 1 that which are not divisible by 4 and 5. So first we have to find the number which is divisible by 4 and the number which is divisible by 5. Then we have to use the inclusion formula. Here let A be the set of integers less than or equal to 2076 that are divisible by 4. So we have to write the formula 519, and let B be the set of integers less than or equal to 2076 which are divisible by 5. So you will get 415. Then we have to use the inclusion formula. A union B is equal to cardinality of A plus cardinality of B minus cardinality of A intersection B. So we have to find cardinality of A intersection B. So commonly, how many numbers dividing 2076 is impossible? Sorry, possible. We have to find 2076 divided by 4 into 5 equal to 103. So this is what A intersection B, cardinality of A intersection B is 103. So the common numbers 4 and 5 which are dividing 2076, the total number is 103. Therefore A union B is equal to, so if you substitute the values in the formula, we will get 831 as a result for A union B. But the question is which are not divisible by either 4 or 5. So neither 4 nor 5. So we have to take the complement. So we know the complement. The total number is 2076. When you subtract A union B, cardinality of A union B, we will get the required answer, 1245. So it is another type of a problem. And again we are giving here 3 numbers. Find the positive integers less than or equal to 3000 and which is divisible by 3, 5 or 7. So here also we have to use inclusion principles. See, inclusion and exclusion principle. Let A, B, C be the set of numbers less than or equal to 3000 that are divisible by 3, 5 and 7 respectively. Now we have to find the cardinality of A. Now we have to find the cardinality of A, cardinality of B, cardinality of C So you will get cardinality of A is 1000, cardinality of B as 600, cardinality of C as 428. Now we have to find cardinality of A union B union C. This is what we have to find. The answer will be the required one. So the formula is, we know that cardinality of A, cardinality of B, cardinality of C minus cardinality of A intersection B minus cardinality of A intersection C minus cardinality of B intersection C plus cardinality of A intersection B intersection C. So this is our formula. Now we have to find Now we have to find A intersection B. Cardinality of A intersection B is 3000 by 3 into 5. And cardinality of A intersection C is 3000 by 3 into 7. So 142. And B intersection C is 85. So this is our A intersection B, A intersection C, B intersection C. Again we have to find A intersection B intersection C. So that is equal to 3000 by 3 into 5 into 7. So our answer is 28. Therefore A union B union C is, if you substitute the values in the inclusion exclusion formula, you will get 1629. So this is our formula and problem. So the final one, find the number of positive integers less than or equal to 3076 that are not divisible by 24. So it is also very easy. First we have to find the number of positive integers less than or equal to 3076 which are divisible by 24, and then we have to subtract from the given value. See, the number of integers divisible by 3076, the number of positive integer less than or equal to 3076 that are divisible by 24 is 128. Then the number of integer not divisible by 24 is 3076 minus 128. Then we will get